morning. It is, well, it's probably good afternoon or good evening by the time you're watching this, but it is the start of another week and the weather in Britain's going to be fantastic. So let's not talk about it. Letters, again, let's do some letters that we had off of last week's content. Start with a joke. I did start with a joke. I talked about the weather. Also, while we're talking about the weather, let's talk about Harry Metcalfe. Harry Metcalfe has just done a new video on his Harry's Farm channel where he's talking about the fact that a planned famine is coming. Watch the video on Harry's Farm, read between the lines. The planned destruction of British food production is going really well. So that's good, that's a positive. There we go, we started on a positive note. A Geoff video that started on a positive note. A success that we can celebrate is the total destruction of the British production of food. Well done, everybody. Excellent. Great job. Start with a joke. Yeah, the weather is a joke. No, here is my joke that has been sent to me. Kia, the car company, have invented a car that can do a U-turn on voice command. They're calling it the Kia Starmer. Boom. Bit of a weak joke, that one, to be honest, but there we go. A joke to start the week, a weak joke to start the week. Week joke, week one. Maybe we'll have a week two next week and we'll start with another joke. Right, let's get into some stuff that is, some of which is replies to some stuff that I've put out. Got a good mix of stuff as usual. I've time-stamped the comments and the description. You can have a look at that now because I've learned how to use timestamps on my videos. Let's get right into it. Letter number one. Geoff, really appreciate what you're doing on YouTube. I made a comment an hour ago responding to a reply to one of my own comments and it was immediately censored. I simply drew attention to the very helpful figures on the Polestar website that quantify the emissions created from producing one of their EVs. I don't see this info being readily available from other manufacturers. No, you're right, actually, it's not. I'm pretty sure no other EV manufacturers are openly publicising how much it takes to make one of their cars. Anyhow, using the Polestar figures, I calculated I'd need to drive my 14-year-old Mercedes-Benz C180 compressor about 85,000 miles to create the same amount of CO2. Given the disposable nature of the modern EV, I question whether many of these cars will ever drive to 85,000 miles before they're uneconomical to repair. With so much emphasis on tailpipe emissions, the powers that be seem to have completely lost sight or prefer to ignore and cover up the bigger picture. I'm sure you've seen the Polestar figures, probably already covered on your channel, but I haven't watched every video. I was intrigued why a simple comment highlighting the above should be so sensitive that it needed to be deleted immediately. All the best, Simon. Thank you for that, Simon. Couple of things there. If you wondered why I shouted compressor like I did, then type into YouTube in a new tab, obviously, because you've got to watch to the end of this video. Geoff buys cars, Mercedes-Benz SLK review. And then you'll get Happy Me from a couple of years ago when I was a much happier man, doing a review of a green, Vivianite green Mercedes-Benz SLK compressor. And I broke that car while I was making that review, actually, and I never said that at the time. Anyway, yeah, so the Polestar figures are available. 85,000 miles. Well, it's not happening, is it? There are so many EVs available at the minute with like delivery mileage and the discounts are huge. There's no way an EV is getting to 85,000 miles, not unless it does it in the first 3 years, because the software problems and all sorts. Well, I'll tell you what, I won't say any more on that. Just wait for a couple of letters down, shall we? Letter number two. Why are we happy buying Chinese cars? Good afternoon. I have been watching your most recent video. This is my chat with James Ruppert when we're asking why everybody's so happy buying Chinese cars. My father purchased a new Mercedes in 1974. He had an account with the local garage for petrol. I can remember my father being concerned whether or not they would supply him petrol as his new car was German. He knew that the garage would refuse to sell petrol to owners of Japanese cars due to how he was treated in the war. And the message then goes on. I'm going to try and keep these letters short today, but the letter basically goes on to say, why is it that manufacturers are giving up their showroom space to Chinese brands, like you can buy an Aura funky cat in a Mercedes dealership, when this is what he says, screwing the dealer and undermining their own brand. So the European manufacturers are allowing the Chinese brands in fact helping them. I watched Car Dealers Live yesterday, I think it was Auto Trader, saying that by 2030, Chinese firms will have a 20% market share. I understand if you're a jeweler and have a Rolex agency, it makes it far easier to sell other watches and jewellery at high prices because of the credibility that Rolex give you. It gives people confidence in buying from you just because of the Rolex sign outside, just like the Chinese car firms are doing. What better way to get credibility if you're a Chinese car firm than align yourselves with Mercedes-Benz? Thank you, John, for that one. I don't know why the British brands are so eager and happy to give these Chinese brands a heads up, which will end up destroying them. It just seems ludicrous to me. It's all part of the planned destruction of the automotive industry, but I'm a conspiracy theorist who believes that there's going to be famines. Like I said, go and watch Harry Metcalfe's video where he explains why there's going to be famines, but he hasn't yet connected the dots, and we're all waiting for the moment when Harry actually wakes up. Letter number 3, car insurance woes. Hi, Geoff. Is there a thing going around at the moment of insurance companies pricing drivers off the road? I just got a quote for a 14-plate Ford Focus, and it's gone up by 800 quid, even though I have a clean licence and 14 years no claims bonus. What do we reckon, viewers? Is there a thing going around at the moment of insurance companies pricing drivers off the road? Yes. Yes, there is. The insurance companies are all utter scum, every single one of them, except for the one I use, which is Cherished Vehicle Insurance Services and my friend Ian. Ian, you're all right, but all the others are absolute scumbags, and that's not the end of insurance in this video. Letter number 4. I saw the Zoe video, EV insurance joke. Hi, Geoff. Love the channel, and I've just seen the Renault Zoe video. This is the one I did last week about a Renault Zoe becoming a write-off because it needed £11,000 worth of repairs to the aircon system. More EV madness. Check this one out. I worked at an accident management company. We had a claim for a Mercedes EV. The guy had pre-ordered it and waited 6 months for the vehicle to arrive, paying around £130,000. This is that quite sleek-looking Mercedes-Benz EQ whatever. He owned the car for 2 weeks, and then some clown ran into the back of him. Was it Sadiq Khan? And then, it gets better, if I can turn my page. Still an old-fashioned paper. I just prefer old-fashioned paper. So, he's bought it for 130 grand, and 2 weeks later, someone runs into the back of him. An independent engineer inspected the car and estimated the damage to be worth £20,000. The garage crack on with the repair, and then they ring up stating that the dashboard is lit up like a Christmas tree. The engineer has another look at the further damage and realises that it's the battery, and Mercedes-Benz then quotes £70,000 to replace it. That's on top of the £20,000 of bodywork. So we've got £90,000 worth of damage on a car that was £130,000, notwithstanding the fact that 2 weeks after he drove it away from the forecourt, it was worth approximately 65 pence. Needless to say, it's a write-off, and people wonder why their insurance premiums are going up. Best wishes, Dave. Thanks for that, Dave. Yes. What is the point in a 130 grand car with a 70 grand battery that's worth 40 grand 2 weeks after you buy it? It's insane. Letter number 5. Car insurance makes no sense. Hi, Geoff. In 2020, I bought an EV BMW Maxi scooter. Now, I'm not sure if that's a typo. Is a BMW Maxi scooter an EV? Is a BMW Maxi scooter a thing? This comment started well, and then it got really confusing. So I did have to edit it, but I don't quite know what vehicle he's talking about. But needless to say, in 2020, some form of BMW Maxi scooter was purchased for a second-hand vehicle. I insured it, and then in 2023, when the renewal came through, I checked the details and noticed the registration was wrong. So I told them the correct one. So for 2 years, I had no insurance, but managed to road tax it and MOT it. I've been through many ANPR cameras, yet no ticket or no fine. How did this not trigger the system? I presume the system only checks MOT and road tax and not insurance. Thank you for your videos. Barry, I don't know. So essentially, he bought a vehicle, insured it. Somehow the insurance put it down as the wrong number plate, and therefore he would have been insured based on the chassis, and you could have proven it in a court of law. But according to an ANPR camera, this vehicle's not insured, and he's had no problems, no fines, no pulled over, no nothing in 2 years. How does that work? Because I bought my BMW 3 Series, drove it up to John O'Groats for the John O'Groats Challenge, and I was pulled over on the way to John O'Groats because a vehicle going the opposite direction had scanned my number plate, and I had come up as non-insurance. It was absolutely terrifying. I got pulled over and I was completely paranoid because I knew full well that my driving licence had expired. I didn't realise until like the day before, and I was like, oh, I'll be all right. I'll go up to John O'Groats with an expired driving licence, and then I'll renew it, you know, when I get back. So there I am, and I see the blues and twos come on behind me, and I'm like, look, I know full well that this car has an MOT, and I can guarantee you that it's insured. However, I don't technically have a driving licence, but thankfully they either didn't check or it didn't bother them. Anyway, I now have an up-to-date driving licence, which is great. Letter number 6. Saw the Renault Zoe video, refrigerant. Hi Geoff, I saw your article this morning on electric car aircon. Any new vehicle will have refrigerant 1234YF in it, and this supersedes R134A. Looking up approximate prices for this gas, the R134, which is the new one, is £13. Oh, hang on. No, that was a replacement for Freon, which was R12, is £13 a kilo, but the new one is £66 a kilo. Strange that the gas to save the planet, ozone, R134, and now there's an even better gas, allegedly, which is 1234YF, is 5 times more expensive. Not only are the parts going to be expensive, the gas that's going in is more expensive. If they want the improved gas to be used, surely it should be cheaper, or at least the same cost. The cost of motoring is soaring. A good mechanic trained on aircon should be able to sort the Zoe out, surely. It's no different to any internal combustion engine car. Thanks for that, Derek. I had no idea about the technicalities of aircon refrigerant gas, but now I do. Now I know. Letter number 7, which is titled, Why Don't Others Speak Up? Geoff, I've been following your videos and other videos about the possible catastrophe regarding the scrapping of older cars and the possible banning of motorbikes. As you already have quite a large following, together with the Mapmaster and EV Carnage, why don't all 3 of you get together and contact the 3 most well-known and influential motoring journalists in the UK, Clarkson, Hammond and May, to see if they will spearhead a campaign to stop this madness? Surely it's worth a try. The 3 of you with the 3 presenters might just start something massive. Anyway, keep up the fantastic work, Geoff, and hope you don't mind me suggesting this. Cheers, Paul. Paul, no, I don't mind you suggesting that. I don't think any of those 3 would dare touch anything that controversial because it would harm their income streams. Between me and you, Paul, I have noticed a significant drop-off on the amount of money that I have been earning on YouTube. It seems to be fairly consistent, and the videos that I'm making are paying... okay, here's an example. I've done 2 videos with James Ruppert from Bangonomics. One was the other week. We sat in the car and we discussed pretty much the same things as we did the first time we sat in the car and discussed things. The first video I ever made with James Ruppert made X number of pounds. The video I made with him last week made less than a third of that amount. So maybe they're on to me. Anyway, letter number 8. Hi, Geoff. I do like the information you collate about EV issues. I do myself, but I have no social media presence as I try and keep my digital footprint as small as possible. Sensible. For a whole range of reasons, I could see none that back up any theories that EVs are good for the environment, and probably could provide at least 10 as to why they're not. Anyway, you're normally so on the ball, it's probably my lack of viewing why I haven't spotted you saying anything regarding the Kilwinning battery recycling centre fire, which gutted the place. Then there's a link to this massive recycling centre fire that happened in Scotland just the other week. No matter what they say about where it started, look at this quote from their website. And this is actually a quote from a newspaper when the place was launched. A new multi-chemistry battery recycling facility has been opened in Kilwinning near Glasgow. The site will play an important part in Phoenix Battery Recycling's plans to develop facilities to offer on-site recycling for multiple battery types, with this site specialising in recycling electric vehicle batteries, amongst others. Followed by a link to the Herald in Scotland, the newspaper, saying that this was not the first fire at the recycling plant. So, do electric vehicle batteries catch fire? Yes. Is the media actively suppressing the fact that electric vehicle batteries catch fire? Yes. Is it our duty to keep reporting electric vehicle fires? Yes. Did I get bored of always making the same videos about electric vehicle fires? Yes, I did. That's why I don't really make electric vehicle fire videos anymore, because lots of other channels are covering them, so I tend not to bother, because I've been there and done that with Luton and what was the ship called? The cargo ship. Maybe if there's another big one, then we'll cover it. Letter number 9, and we're getting towards the end now. FYI, Geoff, in case you've not seen this document, the government response to the consultation on draft legislation to support identity verification. Did a video about this the other day, digital ID, and that was a big one for my channel well over a year ago. I get the impression, despite overwhelming opposition from respondents to the consultation, and maybe MPs too, that the government will plough ahead with its proposals anyway. I will write to my MP about the matter, though I fancy that will not do any good, i.e. will not get our government to drop the idea of digital identity because of overwhelming public negativity. Regards, Wayne. We just got to keep banging the drum about the fact that digital ID is bad and we don't need digital ID. I can't say the words digital ID enough. If I could get you to understand the gravity of the situation, World Health Organization pandemic treaty, once that's signed, there'll be a new pandemic, and well, then we're completely screwed, because then we don't actually have the ability to control our own response to a pandemic. It won't matter. If they sign that treaty, you can write to your MP and say we don't want lockdowns. You can write to the government and say we don't want lockdowns. And Rishi Sunak can say we don't want lockdowns, but he will have already given power to the World Health Organization, and no one will be able to stop the lockdowns, and no one will be able to stop the medical interventions either. So if they sign the World Health Organization's pandemic treaty, pretty much nothing else matters, because if they sign that treaty, there will be a new pandemic, and when there is a new pandemic, there will be a new cure, and we will be forced to have it. It's really bad, really, really bad, and digital ID then will follow, basically. Letter number 10. Hi Geoff, I travelled down to the Great Western Hotel in Weymouth with a friend who drives a Renault Zoe. I hope the aircon was working. They said they have an EV charging at the hotel, but it turns out it's just an outside plug. Turns out you can only charge at 2 kilowatts via the 3-pin charger. It would have taken 30 hours to fully charge her car. We've ended up just using my petrol car since the charging network is horrendous down here. Brilliant. Thanks for that one. And that was also accompanied by a picture of some chargers in Kidderminster where the cables have been stolen. So wireless charging is now available in Kidderminster. So thanks for that one. Letter number 11. Hi, Geoff. I have a not so fun fact for you. I'm not sure I'm ready for some not so fun facts. This fun video has already been full of lots of not fun things. I'm trying to have a fun Monday and it's not really working, is it? 4G frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. The effective irradiated power, EIR, from just one 4G cell on a tower is 30,000 watts. In the documents for patents, there was a patent that was patented to eradicate insects, and it's a handheld transmitter with the same frequency, 2.4 gigahertz at 8,000 watts. The reason for the current diabolical eradication of insects, phones and towers and modems are on the 4G frequency, i.e. they're all putting out the frequency that kills insects. The mid-band 5G frequency will do the same. It's about 3 gigahertz. If we have no insects, we will see a food chain collapse. It's happening now in China. Between 1958 and 1962, over 30 million people starved to death, and it can happen so fast. The bottom 5G frequency band is 900 megahertz, and this matches the frequency in patents to eradicate earthworms. Wow, I didn't know that. If we get rid of earthworms, we're absolutely screwed. Just ask Harry Metcalfe how important earthworms are to growing stuff. But don't talk to him about this because he'll think you're a conspiracy theorist. Do you see what they are doing by getting us addicted to this wireless crap? They're making us dig our own grave. People need to wake up. We can have all the apps, internet and phone using the Ethernet. Ethernet is faster, more stable, and it uses less electricity. The problem is, the harm is deliberate and the public are selfishly ignoring the facts. I don't understand why the public ignores the facts. Angela. Thanks, Angela. The public have a habit of ignoring the facts because the problem is, if you get your facts from people that send you facts by email, that's apparently not as good as the facts that you get from the television. Can't spell television without lie. Well, you can actually, but for that joke, I needed that to work. Letter number 12, and this is the final one. How is this for a bizarre final destination premonition moment? While I was in Southampton yesterday evening, I spontaneously decided to revisit where our old flat is and film a walk around video for my uni friends. Curious to see if much has changed since our time there. After parking in the nearby car park, I thought it was prudent to check my tyres and oil whilst it was still daylight and before heading home, because safety first, right? Suddenly, I had this suddenly, dun dun dun, suddenly I had this unsettling feeling wash over me that something bad was about to happen, and I had an inexplicable urge to get back in the car and park elsewhere. I promptly moved to the other side of the car park, and then I began walking towards the old flat. Moments later, I hear a loud crash, shattering the quiet, and I turn back to see an Audi had smashed through the barrier where I had been stood and parked just moments earlier. Police arrived swiftly, and the knobhead promptly apprehended after attempting to flee the scene. Let's just say I felt extremely lucky. I definitely bought a scratch card on the way home. Well, I'm very glad that you lived to tell the tale and then to email that tale to me. There's quite a lot to go through there, isn't there? I mean, we had some pretty complex stuff in the letters there, and I love the fact that my followers are such intelligent people that are able to put across so eloquently their thoughts. I mean, we've gone from China and the Ori Funky Cat being sold in Mercedes-Benz. We've gone through the Renault Zoe EV stuff. There's been all sorts in there. And lastly, on the one about the 5G and the gigahertz and the megahertz and the premonition, we are more than human. You know, we were put on this earth to do more than just go to work and pay bills and have children and reproduce the relations of production. We are here for more, and we are more. And I firmly believe that the true nature of what it means to be a human being is being withheld from us. We are capable of far more than we know. Our brains and our intuition and our energy fields are capable of far more than we know. Like premonitions, like deja vu, like getting that feeling when you meet someone and you know that there's something going on with that person and you're like, I know you from before. We've had a connection. We are connected, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a previous life thing. Maybe we are all just carbon, and bits of me are in bits of you, and I was once this and you were once that, and we are all just energy, and we somehow in our bodies, in our essence, remember the carbon that we once were, because we've all been here before, and it never works out well, does it? It never works out well, because we are the carbon that they want to replace. Anyway, lots of homework there. Go and watch Harry Metcalfe's latest video on Harry's farm. Let me know what you think. I think he said he's now farming a third less food than he ever has done before. So the government are actively trying to get farmers to stop producing food, which is going to be difficult under these skies anyway. But I'm not going to be under these skies for very long. I've got a hall pass from Mrs. Geoff. I am going away tomorrow, and I'm taking my camera with me. So we're going on an adventure, a YouTube adventure, a little bit like in the style of what the Macmaster would do. But I've been given 5 days free hall pass to go and do what, not what I want, not like in a sort of swinging sort of way. But I'm going on an adventure, and there's going to be hire cars. Not hire cars as in SUVs, hire cars as in cars that you pay to hire. So I'll be reviewing some hire cars and hopefully getting some sunshine and getting my head together, because it's scattered, as you well know, and making some videos along the way as well. So lots of content coming up this week, or I'll just have a really nice time and sort my head out, and there won't be any content from my work trip holiday. One-man mental health holiday. It's a work trip. Thanks for watching.